So some common niche ideas that you'll see on Etsy are sustainable fashion, personalized jewelry, personalized digital prints, self-care products, custom wood signs, vegan accessories, DIY project kits, baby accessories, social media templates, baking supplies, personal growth printables, wedding accessories, vintage clothing. So those are all very, very common niche ideas that you'll see on Etsy. And now we need to talk about why these niches are a problem, why taking that approach is not going to be sustainable for long-term, consistent high sales. It's because a niche does not give you, the shop, the ability to anticipate consumer behavior. You might be thinking, what does that mean? Customers that fall within a niche can be totally different. You're not serving a specific customer when you are in a niche. Just because you are in a niche doesn't mean that you know your customer, and it doesn't mean that there's one type of customer. So the customers that fall within a niche, customers that shop within a niche, can be vastly different. And I'm talking about their socioeconomic status, their income level, their age, their gender, and factors that might impact their purchasing behavior. Now, we are not profiling people, but we have to understand our customers to run a successful business. So a niche is more about an interest category than a specific customer identity. And therein lies the problem. You cannot choose to be in an interest category and not know your specific customer. It's much better to take the approach of choosing a specific customer and giving them what they need or what they might not even know that they need. Maybe you're not convinced yet, so here is an example of why niches are a problem. The example is the sustainable fashion niche. Super popular, right? How do you know how the economy will impact your business? If some of your customers are six-figure earners in their 50s, and some of your customers are college graduates in hefty debt living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe they have student loan debt. Maybe they just haven't learned basic financial responsibility yet. Maybe they just frequently spend beyond their means on Etsy. That's definitely a customer that's on Etsy. And in the sustainable fashion niche, you could definitely have both of those customers. They will be impacted very differently by the economy. So how does a recession or a down economy impact those customers differently within the same niche? So maybe the person in their 50s, they've been at a company for a long time. They have a lot of seniority. Maybe they're not going to get fired. You know what they say? What is it? Last to hire, first to fire? You know what I'm saying? If you are brand new to a company, oftentimes you are more likely to be on the chopping block than someone who has a lot more seniority. Also, theoretically, if you're younger, you probably haven't had as much time and as many years to build up a savings. If you have a high student loan debt and maybe you don't have many assets to your name, those are all going to impact your consumer behavior differently. So within this one niche of sustainable fashion, you can have vastly different customers whose purchasing behavior is going to be vastly differently impacted by certain outside factors like the economy. So what happens if you're in this niche and things are going downhill in the economy and you start to see a decrease in sales? Okay, what would you think to yourself? Oh no, like people don't want my stuff anymore. Oh no, what am I going to do? You don't know which customers are being affected. How would you know what to do in that situation? How would you know if you need to pivot and offer different products? How would you know if it's your pricing? How would you know what aspect of your offer is not resonating and preventing you from converting a customer? You wouldn't know that because you don't know specifically who the customer you're going after is and how they might be impacted differently by outside factors. So a niche sounds like the right way to start a business. It sounds right? You've probably read about it. You've heard about it from other YouTubers and Etsy coaches, but it leaves you, the business owner, facing unpredictable consumer behavior and unable to plan and anticipate how external pressures, such as the economy, will affect the mix of consumers that shop within that niche that you're in. So it makes things really unpredictable and you aren't able to anticipate things and you're in a more reactionary position. And if you want to have consistent multi-six-figure sales on Etsy, you cannot be in that reactionary position. You have to be anticipating, always anticipating. So if you know your customer and how they are affected by external factors, you can anticipate their behavior versus reacting to their behavior. So a niche leaves you more tied to a category of specific product types versus a category of specific people. And that's the problem. Product types trend in and they trend out, but people will always be there. And that's the difference in this approach, is that we want to tie our Etsy business more to a specific person because that person is the decision maker. They are the ones choosing to spend money with you. We don't want to tie our businesses to a specific product type. We want to be more flexible in what serves the customer that we want to sell to.